So hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be solving a new problem, that is count days without meetings. Right. So in this question we have given a couple of things. So we have given this days array, sorry, not days array, but days in number, and we have this meetings array. So what this meetings array is, so these meetings arrays give us the range of the meetings that is being going on, like from 5 to 6 these days. These 2 days meeting will be there. Like for example, in the 5 to 7 we have our meeting. Then 1 to 3 we have our meeting. So total we have 10 days. So if I'll count from 1 to 10. So suppose let's take this example. So in this we have 10 days. So I have written it something like this. 10. Okay. So we have this 1 to 3. We have a meeting. So we will fill the value that okay, 1, 2, 3. We have a meeting. Okay. After that we have 5 to 7. Okay. 5 to 7 we have a meeting, and then we have 9 to 10. So 9 to 10 we also have a meeting, right? So how many days we have left? So we have one fourth day and eighth day, right? So these 2 days we don't have any meeting. So our answer would give us 2 days, right? So this is the problem statement. So there can be one exception case that okay, or there can be one challenging thing that when the 2 days are overlapping. So in that case, what we have to do, suppose let's take this example. So let's take this example. So we have 2, 4 and 1, 3. 2, 4 and 1, 3. So we'll again draw the array. So we have like 5 days. So I'll simply use a number line kind of a thing. So it will start from 1 to 5. We have 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? So for first day 2 to 4, let's take 2 to 4. Okay. So this part is done. Okay. So we have same days, same days, same days. Okay. We have a meeting, right? Okay. After that, we have 1 comma 3. So 1 to 3, we have a meeting. So this is the overlapping thing that, okay, we already have a meeting. We have calculated that, and we will again just mark it that, okay, we already had a meeting. So only fifth day is left. So our answer would give us only 1. Okay. So this would be our problem statement. Suppose if we are taking all the days, like suppose in example 1 to 6, then our answer would be 0 because we are not having any days that are free, right? So this is, as you have guessed it, that okay, this is a interval kind of a problem. There are many problems related to this concept or this tricks. So I'll highly recommend you to just practice that too after this question. So I'll explain you very thoroughly, okay, with quite good examples, and we will also write the code so you will understand the pattern and the template for these type of questions. So now, so let's see the observation. So the observation is that in whenever in our day-to-day life, when we have to calculate something that okay, how many, suppose how many meetings we have or something like that. So we'll start from the beginning, right? Like from the first hour or the first day, right? So I think this is how we will also do it. So in this example, if you see that, okay, we will be starting from 1 to 3. You will check that, okay, if 1 is available, like that. Okay. So now we have sorted this array. Okay. So let's take this example 5, 7, 1, 3 and 9, 10. Okay. So for this example, we have sorted this array. So if you can see that, okay, we are comparing that this range if the ending, right? Let's take this PS would be the previous starting and previous ending. Okay. So we will simply check that, okay, for this one. So let's check if it is the correct way, like this 1 and 3. Okay. After that, we are getting another day that is 5. So can we, so in the example, like 1 to 3, we have the meetings, and but after that we have 5 to 7. So we have couple of days, or we can say the fourth day, right? The fourth day that is not used, or that doesn't have a meeting. Okay. So in this case, how can we check that? So we will simply check that. Okay. So in the previous index, suppose this one, 3, we'll check that. Okay. If it, the value of the starting, the next starting is less than or greater than the value of previous ending. So for in this case, if let's suppose this 5, we will check for the overlapping cases. Okay. So this is the next starting. So our start is here and our starting and ending this one. So this would be our loop. Okay. So we will check that. Okay. So this previous will take it as here. Okay. For example sake, I will show you. And after that, I'll show you that how can we start with the first index. Okay. So for that, let's check again. Okay. So we will check the condition that, okay, this 5 and 3 is this valid? So it is valid because the previous index is less than the starting index or the starting day, right? So if I'll have to write the algo part also, so what we are getting that, okay, we are checking that, okay, if our which value previous index is less than the start. Okay. So this is a start and this is a start and this is our end, because this is how we are iterating our loop. Okay. For each interval, let's see. Okay. So if that's the case, what we will do, we will calculate the values. So how many days we have left? So we will check it. Okay. We will start with 5, but before that we had 3. Okay. So this will give us 2, but we are including these values. Okay. So we have to do a -1. That's why we will get the value as 1. So what this 1 is? 1 is the number of days that we will be calculating. Okay. So we can simply take the value as count. So that would be 1 now. Okay. Right. So if I derive the formula, so what can be the formula? So the formula would be the start minus previous end. Okay. And also -1. Right. So this would be this is how we will increase our count. So this is how we will increase our count. Okay. So this will tell us the number of days that are no meeting day. Okay. Or we can say no meeting day, no meeting days. Okay. So this is how our problem will look like. Okay. So let's move ahead. I hope you got this thing. Okay. We are gonna move ahead. Okay. So we got the condition that, okay. So now we will move our previous and start and both. Okay. Because we got the condition. Now we will again check that, okay, 9 and 7, okay, the start is greater than the value of 7, the start is greater than the value of previous index. Then we will do the same thing, okay, we will increase our meeting number of days. The start value is currently 9 -7 -1. This would give us the value as 1 again, okay. So we will again add 1 in our count. So visually you can also see that, okay, 9, we have till 9 and 7. Okay, so we have only 8 day or 8 that is left. Now I hope you understand that. Okay, so moving ahead. Okay, so after that we will change our pointers here. Okay, so this previous would be here, previous index would be here, and it would be out of the loop, right? Because once we are iterating or once we are adding the values, we will change the value of this PS and PE also, if you have noticed that. Okay, so we will do that again. Okay, we will check that. Okay, instead of previous end, I will write previous index. Oh, sorry, previous end. So what we have to do, we have to change the value as, okay, previous index or previous end. Now your value is changed. What your new value is? The end, because we are changing the values, okay? And previous start would be the start, right? This is what we will do. This is how our loop will work, okay? There will be some conditions that I'll show you after that, okay? So let's just see, okay? Once we are out of the loop, can you tell me what can be the answer? So in this example, we have the days as 10. So suppose our day was more than that. Suppose our day was 11, or let's say 12, okay? And we don't have anything left here. So our previous indexes are all good and done. So if I'll show you that, okay, if I'll tell you that visually, can you realize that, okay, how many days would be left? So you can simply see that, okay, the same thing, the previous index, we'll check that, okay, what is the previous index? The previous end is 10, and 10 minus 2 would give us 2 minus 1, obviously. So, no, sorry, we will get 11 and 12. 11 and 12, because we are done till 10. So these two values we have to take, but we are out of the loop. So in the end, after this if loop, before submitting our count, we'll check the value of the last element. That, okay, if the value is 12 or something else, so if we don't have any meetings after that, so we will simply check that, okay, before returning that, okay, number of days, that can be 12. So I'll just add it here, okay, for the sake of understanding. So you will simply do the same thing, okay, we will just add the result, okay, the result is our count. So our count would give us what we have to do. Just observe. This question is more about the observation instead of any technique or something like that. So this is a whole all about the observation. So let's see. Again, what we will do, we will simply calculate the days minus the previous index, previous end. Okay. So this is how we will add it in the end. So I'll write it down clearly. This is how we will see it. Okay. So this is for the condition when we don't have any overlapping things. Okay. So for this thing also, we have to do one more thing, one more change. Can you guess it? What would be the change of it? So I'll again give you an example. So whenever you can't decide anything, just take an example. Okay. So suppose we have this example 1, 3, and so on. Okay. So let me just change the value here. So if our value starts from 2, okay, then how will you calculate the starting values also? You know that, okay, once we have the value here, we can calculate the values, okay, the previous indexes, these, you know that, but our challenge is that we have to calculate it from the starting. How can we do that? Think about it. So the same way that we have done for the ending, right? Suppose we have the value that is greater than the ending value. The same way we have to check it from the beginning also, that, okay, for example, the starting index or starting thing is 2. Suppose it was 10, 5. Okay. So that way we can skip the values. So we don't have to skip that. So to deal with that, what we have to do, we will simply take the value as 0 in the starting. Let's dry run it. 0. Okay. So we will again start with the start here. Okay. We will check that. Okay. The same, it will go to the same algorithm. Okay. We will check if 0, because 0 is our previous index, is less than start. Yes, it is. We will add the number of days. Okay. The start is 2 minus 0 minus 1. So 2 minus 0 minus 1. Okay, 2 minus 0 minus 1 would give us 1. This is what we want, right? So that way you will understand that, okay, it is working fine. The same way, then it will keep our indexes here. After that, it will change the loop to next element. After that, we have diagram that. Okay, so this is the another observation that we have got that. Okay, we have to check for these two values also. Okay, 0 and 0. So if I write it down here, so we will start with 0 and 0. Okay, so this is the another observation that we have made. So this is for the if part. So if everything is going well, we don't have any overlapping things. But now comes the interesting part. So the interesting part is the overlapping things. Now to handle that, we will just use this example. Okay, so the same way we will have the previous indexes. Okay, and we will have our starting index. Now we will check that. Okay, if this value is true, I hope you can tell it now that okay, it is true. Okay, we have our previous index here. We have our previous indexes set. Okay, after that we will check if this condition is matching. I don't think, because this previous index is greater than the value of start. This is not true. Then we will go into the else statement, right? So I'll just quickly write the else statement. Okay, sounds good. Now moving ahead. So okay, now we are in the else statement. So whenever we are in the else statement, it means that okay, we have some overlapping things. We have to fix that. Okay, we have to merge that. So how can we merge that? It sounds very difficult, but it is not. Trust me. So let's see. Okay. So practically speaking, so if you see it in a normal way that okay, if this one, it is in between 1 and 3. Okay. 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Okay. We have another one that is going from 2 to 4. Okay. Now, if it is in the same way, then we can simply merge these two arrays or these values to 1, comma 4. Is it right? Yes, it is. We can do that. So what is the observation here? So the observation was what we did. Just think about it. We just initially speaking. So for the starting, what would be the starting value? Just think about it. So the starting would be the minimum of these both, because while merging, we have to take the minimum value, right? Think about it. It's very simple. Okay. This is how you usually do things. After that, let's see about the endings. So for endings, what we need? Think. Do we need the minimum or the maximum values? You need the maximum values. Why? Because we are merging the values. When we merge, we take this corner and start with this corner. Okay. So this is what we will do. So what is our observation? So our observation is that, okay, so in the else statement, whenever we have the overlapping thing, so what we have to do, we have to we have to merge them. So how to merge them? We will take the minimum of these two startings, right? And the maximum of these two endings. So what are these two? This PS. So our PS value will change to the minimum of this PS, right? Because this arrow, this is the start end. So this is our loop. So it will keep iterating forward. Okay. So what we have to do, we will take the value, the minimum of start end. Okay. The same way, we will do it for the ending also. So this is what we will do. Okay. So let's just take another example. So let's take this example. Okay. So now we have, if you remember, initial values as 0. Okay. Right. So we will move ahead. Okay. So we will check these values are valid. Yes, they are valid. So what we will, our count will contain. So our count will have now 1. Okay. because this 2 minus 1 minus 1, sorry, 2 minus 0 minus 1. Okay, if you remember the formula. Check, okay, is it valid? Yes, it is valid. So what we have to do, we have to enter the value of count. Okay, no meeting days. And after that, we have to change the value of PS and PE. Okay, so we will change the value. Okay, move ahead, move ahead. Okay, looks good. Now, do we have a valid condition? No, we don't have, because we have an overlapping condition, because 2 to 5 and we have 3 to 4. Okay, so this is overlapping this. So what we will do, I hope you can draw it everything. Okay, so what we will do, we will simply check our this condition here. What was the condition? It would go under. So what was the condition? That okay, if we found a value, we will take the minimum for the starting, or minimum between the both starting and the maximum for both ending. Okay, so our PS value would be 2 and our PE value would also be 5. Okay, then we will simply move ahead because this was the maximum value. Now let's see moment of truth. Okay, we will check previous value, previous ending. Is it valid? No, it is not valid, because this is a different value. It is less than previous index of ending. Okay, so this is not a valid condition, this is an overlapping condition. So what we will do, we will take the minimum of these startings. So what is the minimum? 2 only, right? Okay, so with these endings, what is the maximum value? The maximum value is this 8. So we will change our value of PE to 8. Okay, after that, move ahead. We'll move ahead because we haven't found a valid condition till yet. Okay, that's why we haven't calculated the value of days, because these are all overlapping conditions. We will check again that okay, what is the value of PE? It is 8 and the starting is 4. Is it valid? Is it? It's not valid. Okay, so again what we will do, we will change our values that okay, this is the minimum. Okay, this is the minimum. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, because the value of P is same. We will go out. Okay, now we have been out. So what was the value of days? I forgot. It was 8. So days were 8. Okay, we are out of bound, right? So there was another step that we have to take. That was the last step, this one. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to check that okay, number of days that are 8. Okay, 8 minus previous ending. What was the previous ending? 8. It means that we had the meeting till 8 days only. Okay, but our value of days is also 8. So we will do this, right? See the magic. Do this and we get 0 because we don't have anything here. So that's why our count will not increase. Okay, so our answer would be only 1, because we had only one condition that was valid. That would be 1 only. Okay, so this is the intuition part and the dry run part of the question, and I have also added most of the algo part also here. So I highly recommend you to solve it on your own now, because everything is done. I'll just simply write the code for it, right? So for the coding part, the first thing that we had to do was to sort the array. Okay, to sort we simply use meetings dot sort, right? We have sorted the array. Now we will take the variables. What were the variables? The variables were our no meeting days and our previous index. That we will take PE, PSPE, okay, previous ones. And I think that's all. We had only 3 things. We'll start them with 0, 0, and moving ahead, we will start iterating. So for our start and end in meetings. So what it will do, it will iterate all the values. Okay, now we will check the condition. Now comes to the condition part. So the first condition was if it is valid. We don't have any overlap. Don't have any overlapping condition. Overlappings. Okay. So what was that? So if our start is greater than the end, so end was PE, right? If that's the case, so we had a valid condition. So we will simply add to our meetings that are okay, start minus, if you remember the formula, previous end minus 1. Okay. And after that, we have to change the values back because we are shifting. So PE would be end, okay, and PS would be our start. Now comes to the else part. So our else would be when we have a overlapping. Now when we have an overlapping condition, so what we had to do, we had to shift our previous indexes, right, to merge it. For the merge conditions, we have to move our previous indexes. So to move our previous indexes, we will simply check the min and max condition. Okay. So for the starting, we had to take the minimum one, right? And for the ending, we have to take the maximum values. It will be N and E, right? There was one more condition which had to take the last values, okay? Last values, okay. So number of meetings plus, if you remember, the days, total days that was left, and previous index, okay? I think that's most of the part of it. Now we will simply return our value. So this is accepted and I'll simply submit it. Let's see. So it is submitted and it's pretty efficient also. So that was the code for it. And let's talk about the time complexity. So for the time complexity, we are just sorting the array that is usually n log n. And after that, we are just iterating through the meetings array that is, I think, big O of n. N is the number of the values in the meetings, the length of the meetings. So I think the answer would be n log n because that is the most of the sorting thing. And after that, this is simply just linear operation. So our time complexity would be big O of log n. So that's it for the code part also. So if you have any questions or doubt or you want to give any suggestions, so simply drop it in the comment section. And thank you very much and have a nice day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.